name is Todd. I'm your host for The Laundry List, coming at you live from Laguna Beach. We got Charles in Scottsdale, Soraya in Scottsdale, and Blake in Phoenix, which is an adjacent city to Scottsdale. Hope you guys are having a great summer. Hope you guys are enjoying your family and friends and playing and having fun in life, which is going to be one of our topics today, to play and have fun, which is also one of the promises that we strive to attain here at The Laundry List, to play and have fun and find our inner child and to really enjoy life as life is meant to be enjoyed. So before we get too deep in conversation, Charles is going to read the 14 traits of the laundry list. And then I think today, because we are going to talk about some of the promises, we should read the promises. So Blake, if you don't mind reading those and get ready for that, that'd be awesome. So Charles, why don't you read the laundry list, and then Blake will take it off with the promises.
All right. So this is what we had before Blake reads us what we can get. What we had was, 1, we became isolated and afraid of people and authority figures. 2, we became approval seekers and lost our identity in the process. 3, we are frightened by angry people and any personal criticism, God forbid. 4, we either became alcoholics, marry them, or both, or find another compulsive personality, such as a workaholic, to fill our sick abandonment needs. 5, we lived a life from the viewpoint of victims, and we are attracted by that weakness in our love and friendship relationships. Number 6, we have an overdeveloped sense of responsibility, and it is easier for us to be concerned with others rather than ourselves. This enables us not to look too closely at our own faults. 7, we get guilt feelings when we stand up for ourselves. 8, we became addicted to excitement. 9, we confuse love and pity and tend to love people we can pity and ultimately rescue. 10, we have stuffed our feelings from our traumatic childhoods and have lost the ability to feel or express our feelings because it hurts so much, and this is known as denial. 11, we judge ourselves harshly and have a very low sense of self-esteem. Number 12, we are dependent personalities who are terrified of abandonment, will do anything, and I mean anything, to hold on to a relationship in order not to experience those painful abandonment feelings. And we often receive those by living with sick people who are never there emotionally for us. Number 13, alcoholism is a family disease, and we became para-alcoholics, also known as codependents, and took on the characteristics of that disease, even though we never picked up a drink. And finally, para-alcoholics, also known as codependents, are reactors rather than actors. Soraya, does my voice sound as good not in the studio?
No. Miss you here in the studio.
Doesn't sound as good?
No.
Okay, I'll be in the studio next week. All right, Blake, let's hear the promises.
So these are the promises. This is what we get, as Charles alluded to. 1, we will discover our real identity by loving and accepting ourselves. 2, our self-esteem will increase as we give ourselves approval on a basis. 3, fear of authority figures, the need to people please will leave us. 4, our ability to share intimacy will grow inside us. 5, as we face our abandoned issues, we'll be attracted by strengths and become more tolerant of weaknesses. 6, we will enjoy feeling stable, peaceful, and financially secure. 7, we will learn how to play and have fun in our lives. 8, we will choose to love people who can love and be responsible for themselves. 9, healthy boundaries and limits will become easier for us to set. 10, fears of failure and success will leave us as we inevitably make healthier choices. 11, with help from our ACA support group, we will slowly release our dysfunctional behaviors. And 12, gradually, with our higher power's help, we will learn to expect the best and get it.
Good stuff. You know, I after listening to those promises, I think we should focus on 2 today. One is we give ourselves approval on a daily basis instead of getting it from others. And then the other one is, because I'm at the beach here in Laguna, which I'm going to show you right now. There's the ocean. We're going to learn to play and have fun. We're going to learn to play and have fun in life. So I think, you know, let's focus on those 2 today.
I think the playing and having fun is like one of the greatest things for me recently, is I get to just genuinely laugh and genuinely enjoy the moment because I'm not worried about, what people, particularly my partner, might think, or what, my friends might think, because I think they go hand in hand, because I'm giving myself the approval and I'm giving myself the permission to have fun in my day-to-day life. And I'm not so worried about getting approval from outside places. Because when I'm trying to get approval from everyone else, I'm living in fear, and I'm living in like manipulation, and I'm not living in fun and not having fun in my day-to-day life. What do you think, Charles?
I'm going to have to agree with you. It's nice that Todd's at the sea while I'm in a sea of boxes, as you can see behind me. The first half of that is a very powerful thing. Our self-esteem will increase. And I don't know about you guys. No, I do know about you guys. So my self-esteem was always so low. All right. My self-esteem and how I felt about myself was always contingent upon others telling me that I was good enough. Others telling me that I looked, that like, what, hey, do you like what I'm wearing? And if I felt you didn't like what I was wearing, I was going to change it. It wasn't about what I liked. It was, I dressed for the audience so that you'd say, oh, that looks really good. I told the jokes around certain people. Everything was to get esteem, not from self, but to get esteem from you, so that I feel better about myself. And how temporary and how lonely is that? How can I have approval of myself if my self-esteem is that low and I'm seeking it from you? It's a tiring, exhausting, dishonest, overwhelming, overburdening virtue to try to get that self-esteem from others. Or I'm sorry, to get esteem from others. So now, how am I getting approval of myself, right? The first one is, no matter what, I'm never alone, right? So the abandonment plays into these things. I was always terrified of being alone, whether that's at home alone or dying alone, or these terrible fantasies, having to all be alone. I was terrified of that. So first is, as long as I have myself, I'm never alone, right? So I always realize now that I'm being content with myself, living alone. As long as I have myself and as long as I have God, I'm never alone, right? So I don't need to have someone else to make me feel whole, usefully whole, as far as being alone. And then I think the second part about that is what I'm doing each day, I'm finding personal satisfaction finally in what I'm doing, because it's for me, not for someone else. I'm doing what I enjoy doing. I'm doing things that are self-fulfilling, which ultimately increase my self-esteem. So I'll pass that from there. But these are things that they took. So at 43 years old is when I first figured out that I'm okay, I'm enough. Two, that I'm doing things that I enjoy. And usually that is involved with another partner. Sorry about the background guy. But it took me a long time to realize I could even live alone. I was terrified being alone.
Well, and I think, to expand on what you're saying, if you're living in the laundry list and you're constantly playing that part of those 14 traits, you cannot live, you cannot play and have fun. It's impossible. It's like being happy and being completely depressed at the same time. It just can't happen. So when you're in that laundry list and you are constantly trying to people please, trying to make sure someone else isn't angry or mad at you, trying to constantly live by those 14 traits, I truly believe you can't have the freedom and joy and the peace that comes with playing and having fun in your life, and we use the example, like when we were kids, and if we were worried that our mom was mad at us, it was like, how could we be outside playing when we know our mom's mad at us and she's going to yell at us when we get in the house? We are constantly in anxiety and worry that we're going to get yelled at, and it's disrupting our play and our openness when we're outside with the kids or with our friends. So it's the same thing in adulthood. If our partner or employer or friends are mad at us and we're freaking out about it, there's no way we're going to be able to play and have fun, because they're going to be in our mind. And Blake, you and I have talked about that. We can be on vacation somewhere, and if our partner's mad at us, we are in our head 100% of the time and not being present in the moment, enjoying the relationships and conversation and the setting that we're supposed to be in. because we're preoccupied with the person that's mad at us and feeling like we're in trouble, we're a bad boy, we did something wrong. Takes us out of the moment, which I don't think you can be happy and have fun and play if you're not in the moment.
I was given some good advice, and I love sharing this particular advice. So I remember once I was in between a relationship, like a marriage had come to an end, and I'm alone, and I'm terrified of even being there. Is anyone ever going to love me again? That type of stuff, right? When we're lying to ourselves, no self-esteem, not having fun.
Right.
It didn't matter if you put in front of me the let's say it's the beach or whatever it is that I would find fun with. It was impossible for me at that mindset, not loving myself, not having it out. I could not have fun. And my father says to me, he says, go make yourself a nice dinner, right? So let's simplify things, right? Go make yourself a nice dinner. And if you can't love yourself, treat yourself as though it's a visiting dignitary, right? Like you have a visiting dignitary coming over, prepare the finest meal, and that visiting dignitary is you. And I couldn't grasp that concept at that time, right? Because the esteem level is so low. But even in your own home alone, cook yourself a nice meal, right? Start with something small like that. Prepare a meal fit for a king for yourself. And that was valuable advice that I couldn't wrap my head around because of the fact that my esteem is so low. But that's one of the things I do.
Maybe you could wrap your head around it, but you just didn't believe you were worthy of that.
It could be. Yeah, but maybe some people can't make it to the beach today, right? Maybe some people can't, but there's so many different ways, examples of having fun on the simplest forms. And it all has to do with that self-love. And if that self-love is there, right, just being alone with just yourself, I'm able to find thousands of different ways now to have fun without it being some sort of external stimulant or external device.
I think part of it for me with having fun is like, if I'm not living life in the laundry list, like I can sit in a room with a friend or, with friends and not a lot being said and being like, okay and comfortable, right? Because I'm not worried about like getting validation from that people or you making you laugh at one of my jokes. So it makes me feel good. Like not like living life in the promises. I can sit in a room with you, Todd, and Soraya and Charles, and not a whole lot being said, and that being fun in and of itself, right? Like, where when I was in the laundry list, like that couldn't happen. Like I'm gonna try to carry on a conversation that should have died 20 minutes ago.
Right, you're performing. I mean, basically, I look at the laundry list as like you're a performer on stage, and you're trying to get everyone to play their part in life, in the role. Because if not, you're not going to be okay. And the promise is you're not on stage. You're like living your life, and what other people do, say, or feel is really none of your concern, and really doesn't affect you to any great extent. You're just trying to live your life the best you can based on your purpose, your ethics, your morals, your values, your wants, your hobbies, etc. And you're just doing, what you want to do, and you're not concerned with others. The laundry list, you're a performer based on what other people, the characters and the actors in the play want you to do.
For sure. 1,000%.
One's like the play where, and one's like, you're just gonna dance and live life the way you want to live it. And you're not really concerned what others think, whether it's your parents, your wife, your business partners, your friends. It just, if they don't agree with you or get mad at you or whatever, you're like, hey, I'm living my life and I'm enjoying it. And you don't have to agree with me. I mean, the best part of the promises is like, we can disagree and it doesn't affect my mood whatsoever. You can be mad at me and it doesn't affect my joy and my playfulness. And that's, I love the promises, and I got to constantly remind myself to give myself approval on a daily basis, because I'm so used to getting it from other people and material things too. Let's not forget that, the material things and people that I got to remind myself, no, I got to give it to myself. And that comes through prayer, through meditation, through mantras, through, doing service work, through like just look at myself in the mirror going, yeah, I'm really proud of who you are today. And feeling that, because I know that I get it from myself when God and my self-esteem and within myself is like really trying to, you know, fill that hole that I was so desperately trying to fill by other people and material things. And sometimes the material things are sly. If I'm talking about business 24/7, well, then my material possessions and material world is giving me approval. If I'm talking about what other people say and think about me all the time, then I'm obviously getting from people. But if I'm getting it from myself, I have no need to like be obsessed with those other things. And when you were talking, Blake, it reminded me of a vacation I was in Capri with my ex-wife, and we were in one of the prettiest places in the world. And I was so obsessed with the health anxiety, like so obsessed with it. That was the only thing on my mind 24/7, that I had no recollection at all of the beauty and the conversations and the food and the smells of that trip. And it was one of the most incredible, pristine places I've ever been to. And I've been there 5 other times besides that trip. And that specific trip, I have no recollection of it. It's almost like I blacked out for 2 weeks. I blacked out because I was so obsessed with this anxiety, this health anxiety. And that's what happens when we're living in laundry list, you know? We almost like black out.
I even experienced some of that this weekend. You know, we went to San Clemente this weekend for a pickleball tournament. And then I brought a group of my guys with. And then from there, we went to Mexico to look at some business stuff. But one of the guys that I was with, he probably spent 80% of the time on the phone or responding to text messages from his girlfriend. Right now, he's very young, but it took me back to when I was in those same situations where the majority of my time was trying to satisfy the person on the other end that was pulling me out of being present. Right. And my advice to everyone is let your partner be, let them enjoy themselves. I mean, I know for a fact that if I'm in the next relationship I'm in, whether it's last minute, last second, you know, you don't agree with it, let them be, let them enjoy their space, let them enjoy their time. I mean, just tracking down.
And that's unconditional love. That you're describing, Charles, is unconditional love. The love that we describe in the laundry list and what you're describing with the person you're with, that's conditional love. That's like, okay, if you love me all the time and you give me constant validation approval, then I won't leave you and I'll stay with you and I'll give you love back. Well, that's not love. That's attachment. That's conditional approval and a conditional, attachment really is what it is. But if you let somebody, like, why do people have to talk to their partner 8 times a day when they travel? Right? And it's a very simple answer, because they're scared to death that person's going to leave. That's why. Period. If you really have something to say, yeah, it's like, or you feel guilty, yeah. But like when you really love someone and you're confident in who you are, you don't need to check on them all the time. You don't need to like make sure they're okay, because you're not making sure they're okay or checking on them for any other reason that you're scared for abandonment. And you're scared that they're going to leave you. You know, if you got something to say to them, okay, that's fine. Talk to them once, twice a day, maybe 3 times a day. But we all know those couples and those people, and we were one of them, where we had to check on them all the time. All the time.
I was definitely that guy. Like no matter what, like I got a call. I gotta make sure, blah blah. Like whatever excuse I make up in my head, like it was so because I didn't want.
And then you feel okay. You feel okay for a minute, right? Or an hour, 2 hours. But then the fear of abandonment comes back in. Then you got to call again. Oh, shit. And now she doesn't answer. Oh, and then now you text her. Oh, shit. She's not texting you back. Yeah. Now a light grade panic is coming into play, right?
Or so I call, are you mad? Are you mad at me?
Right.
Like if you keep asking that, I'm like, oh, okay.
So now you're on some beautiful golf vacation in the middle of some beautiful, incredible area. And now you're not in the moment anymore. You are a full-fledged trauma Blake of 8 years old. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with the girl you're with, nothing to do with your wife or ex-wife. It has everything to do with replaying the trauma from childhood that's getting replayed. And the characters are just these adults that are in our life.
I mean, how did this shit work 30 years ago when
Yeah,
there were
definitely
no
making
cell
it work.
phones? Yeah, there was no tracking cell phones and knowing their exact location at that moment. There was no cell phones. You basically had to wait for them to call you from a landline and hope you were next to the landline. So people just got to leave and go be. And now it's, I know your precise location. You know, I know, I can reach you every second. That's maybe that's fueling some more of the abandonment type feelings. But
no question.
I've been on both ends. I've been the one that's saying, well, who are you with? What are you doing? What's going on? More commonly, I've been on the receiving end, which is, and let's say, for example, God forbid it actually be something that I had planned that I was truly going to go enjoy. I've been with partners that just wanted to ruin that trip from the second I was getting ready to walk out the door. Hey, do this, do that. And then all of a sudden there's a litany of chaotic problems occurring at home, pulling me out of being present. Like I said, I left my 20-year high school reunion early because the person back home was, not happy that I was gone. Now I've been on both sides, and it's sad. So my advice today.
Well, and it's annoying when you're on the other side of it, right? Where we're on the flip side of it, and someone's calling us 15 times a day, going, "Hey, just checking in. What are you doing?" You're like, "I just talked to you an hour ago. Like nothing's changed in the last hour." We're the adult, right? But when you're that scared little kid and you're freaking out for the abandonment, it's never enough. You can never get enough approval. You can never get enough. I'm okay. You need constant. That's why, this Dr. Glover that I really admire and really enjoy his work. He's like, if you're in a codependent relationship, you gotta starve the dog. And the way to starve the dog is you go 30 days without talking to that person, no contact. So he recommends everybody, even if they're married or not married or dating, if you want to break the codependent attachment, go 30 days with no contact whatsoever and go through the emotions that come with that. And then you come out the other side going, you know what? I'm okay. This person still loves me. This person actually appreciates me more and miss me more. And it's like it actually becomes a beautiful thing. Or you come out of it and go, I really don't like this person. It was just sufficing as a codependent attachment that made me feel safe. But I really don't enjoy this person's, hobbies, ethics, morals, whatever it is. So either way, it's a fruitful exercise to find out who you are and if you want to be in that relationship. But can you imagine, Charles, like dating someone and saying, okay, no contact for 30 days? Like that would be impossible.
Oh, it's because we all want to fall in love and spend every waking hour together. But that would be it's an interesting practice.
Yeah. Soraya, what do you have to add to this conversation today and some of the topics we're talking about?
Well, so, I was listening and I remember one of our beginning episodes, there was a time where Charles talked about when he was in a relationship, he was never present with anybody else but the relationship. I was there too. In my last relationship, I was consistently canceling on all of my plans. I isolated myself away from all of my friends and all of my family, and I didn't talk to any of them because the only thing that existed in my world was my boyfriend. And I'm in part to blame for that. I mean, he was codependent also, but I gave in. I wanted to make him happy. If he was happy, I was happy, except I wasn't really happy. I remember probably, I want to say this was maybe April of last year. Todd, Perry, everybody, we all went out to Steak 44 together and we had a nice dinner. And I remember he just wanted to make that experience miserable for me. I was really excited about something that I was going out to do with my friends and my family and whatever. And he scheduled his airport trip for that same day at that same time that I was supposed to be at dinner, and then made me feel terrible for not picking him up from the airport when he knew about all of that. And so in leaving, I've learned to kind of just enjoy my time with my friends and enjoy my time alone. And now that I'm entering a new relationship without that codependency, I don't have to feel bad for spending time with my friends and spending time with my family and just doing the things that I want to do. And that's
Yep.
pretty much all
a
there
lot,
is to
a
it.
lot of the patterns are set up in that first 6 months to a year, I think. A lot of the patterns. And once those patterns are set, they're very hard to undo. But if you set up good patterns and good communication skills and good boundaries that first year, you're setting it up for a really good relationship, you know, a healthy, non-codependent relationship. But if you set it up to where it's very codependent from the start, very hard to undo. It takes two very willing people.
I think it's like borderline impossible to undo. Like I think back to the beginning of my relationship with my ex-wife. Like I was, lying to her about being sober, and then I actually got sober, and then I went away for 30 days to, treatment. And like, I was so scared that she was going to leave me. And then that first 6 months, all I did was try to seek approval and have her tell me that I'm doing a good job, like good job staying sober, good job going to meetings, good job going to work. And then like it kind of put us in a position where I don't think it was ever going to get back to being functional,
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. And I think intense therapy and things like Glover said, 30 days with no contact, because with those 30 days, no contact, you're going to feel the feelings of abandonment. You're going to get angry. Like one partner will get angry at the other, but they can't contact them. So they got to work through those anger, resentments, triangulation of emotions. And by doing all that, they start to realize it has nothing to do with the other person. All this anger and rage and control has everything to do with me and my shit, not the other person,
Like the least amount of contact I've had with my soon-to-be ex-wife has been in the last 30 days. Like even when I was in rehab, like she came and visited me every Saturday, and that was like the highlight of my week, to make sure and if she didn't come on that Saturday, I would have been checking out, like going to find her. I'm leaving rehab, like whatever, like, and it just, it was no, and it was no way to live for either of us. Right. Like that's not anything you'd wish for anybody,
Right. Well, this is good stuff. I love those two promises. We're going to learn to give ourselves approval on a daily basis and not get them from material possessions and others. And then we're going to learn to have fun and play. I'm at the beach, I'm learning to have fun and play. I'm learning how to laugh at myself. I'm learning how to, laugh with my friends and family. I'm learning how to like play with my wife and tease her. I mean, we were talking about some of the things I did today to tease her, and it's like we're laughing about it. It's like we don't have to take everything so seriously, and we can laugh at ourselves and laugh at others. And that's the beauty about doing the work, is we get to this playful stage in our 40s, 50s, and as we get in our senior years, we can really laugh and have fun and not take everything so seriously. And I love that, because I see a lot of people that are so fucking serious in life, and it's like, man, just lighten up, lighten up, enjoy it. Life's to be enjoyed, not to like shame ourselves and criticize ourselves and criticize and judge others and gossip about others. It's about just playing and having fun and seeing our friends play and have fun. I love to see Blake happy. I love to see Charles happy. I love to see Sarai happy. And that wasn't the case when I was in my 20s, or 30s. I mean, misery loved company. I love when my friends were in pain because I felt a little bit better about myself. And now I love when my friends and family are happy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, this is a great episode. I'm really glad we did it. Oh, there's some dolphins out there. See the dolphins out there? I'm going to show you guys. You're going to see these dolphins. It's incredible. Again, I wish Sarai was here to help me with this technology.
Fly me out. I'm ready.
I mean, you got to see, but there's a whole bunch of dolphins out there.
Oh, wow.
What do they call them? A school of dolphins?
I don't know, actually.
I think it's a pod.
A pod.
Pod of dolphins.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a lot.
All right. Yeah.
No one should think for a second those dolphins aren't having fun.
Yeah. If you guys want to know what we're talking about, we got the video up on YouTube.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Google, anywhere you get your podcast. And just give us reviews, give us feedback. If you want to come on the podcast, please give us comments. Tell us you want to come on. Email Soraya at
thelaundrylistpodcast@gmail.com.
laundrylistpodcast@gmail.com. I'll eventually remember that. Have fun, play today, be silly, find your inner child and play with that inner child. Give yourself approval and try to stop yourself from getting it from others. We love you. Please be nice to my friend this week, and we'll see you next week on The Laundry List.